guys, welcome back. It's Voice of Persona ASMR. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Today I'm going to be going back to the fact reading videos, and I'm going to be reading some video game facts. It's been over 2 years since I've done one of those, I think. So we're back, and I'm prepared. I've got my Mario shirt. Whoosh. So I'm ready. I'm ready to learn some more video game facts or to refresh our memories. It really will depend. So, let us begin. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Super Mario Brothers. Wow, I said Super Smash. And Donkey Kong is not allowed to bike to work because his safety is too important for Nintendo. Or to Nintendo, rather, I should say. My mind automatically went to Super Smash Brothers. Good game, though. Also owned by Nintendo. So, during the production of GoldenEye 007, developers considered having players unplug and reinsert the N64 Rumble Pack every time they wanted to reload their weapon. Well, that would have been kind of annoying, I feel like. Especially, if you're a kid, I don't know how well that would have gone, honestly. It's better they didn't do that, I think. The Nintendo character Kirby was named after John Kirby, the legal counsel for Nintendo who helped them win their lawsuit with Universal Studios in 1982. John Kirby was gifted a sailboat christened the Donkey Kong and given exclusive rights to name any boat he owned Donkey Kong. Ghostbusters, the video game from 2009, has voice acting from all 4 of the original cast members: Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, who helped write the script as well. Aykroyd considers it essentially the 3rd movie. That's cool. Many American public libraries carry video games as an attempt to lure teenagers into a library. The result is more teenagers coming to the library, and books are being checked out at a rate that exceeds what it was before the game arrived. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it worked on me, when I would go to the library when I was younger, and there was video games there, it definitely caught my attention. So I know it worked on me for a fact. I don't know if it still works to this day, but maybe. In 2005, a glitch in World of Warcraft allowed a plague to spread in the game, leading non-infected players to abandon cities while those infected were forced into quarantines. It was later studied by epidemiologists to see how real-life people would react to a pandemic. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know this was actually a thing, That's pretty funny. That is actually really hilarious. I hope you don't hear those fire sirens in the background there. Konami had a sense of humor dealing with Nintendo piracy. If Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 senses it isn't an authentic copy, the game silently reduces the damage the player deals out, doubles the damage they take, and makes Shredder immortal. The creators of Pac-Man did not know how the game ended, as it was designed to run indefinitely. It was only when Billy Mitchell finished the game after all its internal storage ran out that they saw how it ended. Every time Pac-Man eats a regular dot, he stops moving for 1 frame, 1/60th of a second, slowing his progress by roughly 10%, just enough for the following ghost to overtake him. PETA had a problem with the whaling segment of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Ubisoft dismissed it, saying they did not condone whaling any more than they condoned a pirate lifestyle. And people, they seem to forget that video games are just that. They're video games. It's fiction. It's not an endorsement. Video games have conflicts, and in order to have a conflict, you have to create, villains and characters that do despicable things. If you don't do that, there's no actual drama or reason to play the game. And I think people don't realize this sometimes. I don't know. Alan Tudyk, Adam Baldwin, and Nathan Fillion all voiced Marines in Halo 3. Their characters were given personalities resembling the characters they played in Firefly. I have to finish Firefly. I stopped watching it like a few years ago and I never finished. Red Shirt guy, Ian Bates, stumped a panel of World of Warcraft developers during a Q&A at BlizzCon 2010 by asking them about an inconsistency in the lore. Later, an NPC was introduced into the game who wore a bright red shirt and was named Wildhammer Fact Checker. Nintendo Power stopped accepting the many Tetris high scores submitted by Steve Wozniak, so he reversed his name and Evets Kenzo was printed. Grand Theft Auto was originally a racing game called Race and Chase. However, a glitch made the police cars go crazy, ramming the player. The glitch was so popular with testers that they rebuilt the game around it, creating Grand Theft Auto. If you beat the video game Twisted Metal 3 as the demon minion, he wishes to spend eternity in hell. In standard Twisted Metal fashion, the wish is turned against him and he is sent to Hell, Michigan. Henry Cavill almost missed the call for the role of Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft. Relatable. Not the movie part, but, World of Warcraft does take your attention, and distracts you from other priorities. So I get that. It's happened to me. A father made his son work his way to modernity by playing through the history of video games chronologically, rather than let him play whatever video game he wanted. The boy started with 1979's Galaxian. That's actually interesting because I thought about that, right? And if I have kids, how am I going to introduce them to video games, which is obviously a big part of my life? And I figured, starting them with the classics that I played would be a good start. And then they can gradually build up to, whatever is released in that time period, whatever year it'll be when I have kids, if I have kids. Half-Life, Metal Gear Solid, GoldenEye, Fallout, Banjo-Kazooie, Prey, which would not be released for another 9 years, and Duke Nukem Forever, which would not be released for another 14 years, were all revealed at E3 1997 over the span of 3 days. Playing action video games trains people to make the right decisions faster without loss of accuracy. Video game developers develop the heightened sensitivity to what is going on around them, which helps with multitasking, driving, keeping track of friends in a crowd, and navigating around town. I think I can definitely attest to this because it's happened to me where now, because I've played video games so much, my brain is, more active, and it's like you're working your brain out. And so I've noticed it benefit me in my day-to-day life, minus the navigating part. I'm still not good at that, but a lot of people don't give video games the credit it deserves in terms of that, because you are exercising your brain. You're thinking, you're running a lot of different scenarios in your mind to see what kind of actions you should take. It's a lot more involved than simply watching TV, sitting on the couch and passively absorbing whatever's in front of you. A lot of people don't get that, but video games are definitely a good mental exercise. Some video games. Best Buy removed the fighting game Primal Rage from its shelves after an Arizona woman complained that her 11-year-old son had faithfully portrayed one of the game's gorilla-like characters, Golden Shower Urination Fatality Move. GoldenEye 007 for N64 only had 9 developers on the team, and 8 of them had never worked on video games before. A study surveying 5,000 children on the video game and social habits came to a conclusion that those playing video games on a regular basis are more satisfied with their lives, are less prone to being hyperactive, have less emotional issues than those who don't play video games at all. Well, there you go. Video games are a positive. Well, I guess it depends on the game and stuff, but I've never had a problem. Scientists in Berlin, there is definitely a difference. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but there's definitely a difference between the gamers and non-gamers. Like, our personalities are not the same. It's just, there's something different. I'm not trying to, pat myself on the back for being a gamer. Look at me. But, there is a definite difference in gamers and their mentality and their skepticism and things like this. They just think differently is what I'm saying. Not saying whether that's better or worse, but I'm just saying I think it exists. Anyway, scientists in Berlin asked adults to play Super Mario 64, great game, over a period of 2 months for 30 minutes a day. The group showed increase in gray matter, demonstrating the direct causal link between video gaming and volumetric brain increase. You see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Let me read this one more time for you. Scientists in Berlin asked adults to play Super Mario 64 over a period of 2 months for 30 minutes a day. The group showed increase in gray matter, demonstrating the direct causal link between video gaming and a volumetric brain increase. So there you go. Super Mario 64, which, by the way, wasn't really a very complicated game by today's standards. Just platforming, running, jumping on top of stuff. It wasn't like you had to think that much. It's basic stuff. I can play it right now without even really paying attention. So, NES games like Battletoads were made so hard because Nintendo was losing money on video game rentals. If they took a long time to beat, people would have to buy the games instead. The entire GoldenEye 007 game on the N64 is only 12 megabytes, which is pretty crazy because, these days images are, larger than that in some cases. With over 25 billion hours, 2.85 million years of total game playtime, people have played Call of Duty for longer than the course of human existence. That's crazy. The popular video game Deus Ex, released in the year 2000, is missing the Twin Towers due to graphical limitations. The in-game explanation for this was that they were destroyed by a terrorist attack. That's pretty eerie. The surface of Minecraft's overworld on the PC version is approximately 9,258,235,000 times larger than that of the Earth. People who play video games are more likely to be lucid dreamers, have control over their actions in dreams, than those who don't. I don't think I've ever lucid dreamed, but I have a friend who does it. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a lot of effort to actually get it to happen. It's not worth it, I don't think. The multiplayer mode in GoldenEye was added last minute without the knowledge of Rare and Nintendo. Let's see. Game Boy was the first video game console to be played in space by Russian cosmonaut Alexander Serebrov. The game he played was Tetris. Tetris is fun. I like the music too. It's like... It's very Russian. If you finish this incredible hard game, Ghosts and Goblin... If you finish the incredible hard video game Ghosts and Goblin, you will receive a message at the end that all was just an illusion and you'll be forced to start at the very beginning of the game again. Only after playing through the second time, you will see the real ending. And I apologize if you hear any, street traffic. It really is in the afternoon. Usually I record at night, and there are some horns and stuff because people are impatient, so I'll try to edit it out. But if you hear it, hopefully it's not too disruptive. I'll try to, mask it out as much as possible. One of the difficulties of recording in an ASMR video, The entire game of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, is less than 1 megabyte in size. Miyamoto believed donkey meant stupid in English, and assumed that the name Donkey Kong would convey the sense stupid ape to an American audience. When he suggested this name to Nintendo of America, he was laughed at, but the name stuck. And now we have Donkey Kong. Iconic. Earthworm Jim was created as a result of the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The game was created as a satire of platform video games at the time. For instance, Princess What's-Her-Name was a parody of how so many video games have throwaway female characters to be saved, like Princess Peach. Some political prisoners in China were forced to play World of Warcraft and other games to gather virtual currency. I believe this is still a thing that happens. I don't know about the prisoners part, but people in China, they make virtual currency in World of Warcraft for reasons. I'm not really sure as to what the details are there, but I think it still happens. Certain countries where, World of Warcraft money is worth more. So, I don't know if it was Venezuela or where, but that's neither here nor there. That's a tangent. Rockstar Games hired a private investigator to locate the remaining relatives of one of the members of the Scat Bros in Utah in order to obtain license rights to the song Walk the Night for use in Grand Theft Auto 4. The Japanese version of Fallout 3 does not give the player the option to detonate the megaton nuclear bomb. Is that because of World War II? Pearl Harbor? I'm not sure. Or I guess it would not Pearl Harbor. It would be Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm not sure. I'm just assuming that's the reason. A little touchy subject when it comes to bombs and nuclear detonation and stuff for the Japanese, maybe. Just a theory. Random thought I had. A World of Warcraft player had 36 accounts on 11 computers simultaneously and rated by himself. There are people in World of Warcraft that just no matter what you do, you will never be as good as they are because they just have so much more dedication to the game than you do. It's just never going to happen, You can try, but it's never going to happen. The award for 10 consecutive kills with a shotgun in Halo 3 was titled Cheney Mania before it was changed to Open Season. Scientists have shown that playing Tetris can increase cravings for sex, drugs, and food. Interesting. That's a new one for me that I've never heard of before. If Mario was a real person, he would have to run and swim 3.4 miles, to complete Super Mario Bros. Angry Birds and Clash of Clans have helped rejuvenate Finland's economy after Nokia's downfall. I wasn't even aware Nokia was a Finnish company. I thought it was like a, Korean or Japanese company, like many of these are. Interesting fact. In direct-to-video games, I guess. After his mom died, Albert Ranson learned to code and built an indie game called Candy Swipe. 2 years later, a near-identical game called Candy Crush Saga was released. The average age of a person who plays video games is 30. So that debunks the myth that it's for kids. It's for everybody, really. You don't have to be a child to play video games. In the original Silent Hill video game, the fog covering the town was put in the game because of hardware limitations. Covering the town in fog meant that only the area surrounding the player at any given moment needed to be rendered. Activision, the company behind the Call of Duty series, runs an endowment dedicated to finding employment opportunities and jobs training for veterans. The Call of Duty endowment claims to have helped over 25,000 vets in well-paying jobs since 2009, which that's a good thing, We all know if you're in the gaming, loop, Activision is a company that's frowned upon and has a lot of dirty practices. So it's good that they're doing something positive for veterans. So that's good to hear. And, there's something I was thinking about doing. And you guys can tell me if you think this is a good idea, is reading positive news. Just going through the news and finding positive stories and just talking about it in an ASMR format and making it like a weekly series. Because there's a lot of news that we get on a daily basis that's very negative, and it just doesn't serve to benefit us in a positive way. So I figured it would be a good thing. Let me know what you guys think. I think it would be a fun thing to do, right? So a man reached level 90 in World of Warcraft without ever leaving the starting zone, spending 173.5 days mining and picking herbs. I mean, you can reach level 90 in World of Warcraft just by spamming dungeon queues and raid finder. That's why Classic is so much better, because it actually forces people to interact and get out there and socialize. And the game is more difficult, and it's more of a MMO and less of a dungeon simulator. So I'm just saying. It's neither here nor there, though. In Assassin's Creed, every character you assassinate was a real person, and the date and location of their death was accurate. That's pretty cool. Actually, I didn't know that. And that's because I never beat Assassin's Creed. I got it over 10 years ago. Never really finished playing it, though. So there is a hiding spot in Pac-Man where you can sit still safely for as long as you like. And that's all the facts that I have here that was a pretty good list. I mean, I usually do these videos and sometimes the facts are boring, but this was a really, like, really good list, I think. So thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you thought, and if you would like to see more video game fact reading videos, I would be happy to deliver that. And if you like my idea about reading positive news in an ASMR format, let me know, and I'll be happy to give that a shot as well. Well, anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Get some sleep. Take care.